In today's video, they slam onto ship decks, swim in packs right behind boats, and even climb straight up the railings as if they no longer want to hide. Hold on, step into the moments when mermaids were caught on camera and left the entire world stunned. Let's start with the first moment when a half-human, half-fish creature drops hard onto the deck of a ship in the middle of the northern European Sea. On a wooden boat in the icy northern waters, a group of fishermen was pulling up their nets when a strange creature suddenly crashed painfully onto the deck. It immediately began thrashing, its upper body twisting like a person trying to break free, while its large tail slammed against the floor, splashing water everywhere. Its skin was cold gray, its eyes were deep and black like the throat of the ocean, and its mouth opened as if it was desperately trying to breathe air. That scene instantly reminded many viewers of old Norwegian and Icelandic mermaid legends, where fishermen believed sea people appeared during rough weather. Watching the creature struggle on the deck felt like an ancient story suddenly coming to life right in front of the camera and the fishermen who witnessed it. But in a clip recorded off the Caribbean coast, these mermaid-like figures didn't stop at following boats. You're not imagining it. It wasn't waves, and it wasn't a big fish. It was two mysterious mermaid-like creatures, seemingly climbing straight up the side of a fishing boat. In the video, you can clearly see the sunset behind them, and the small boat speeding across the water. That's when a green-yellow creature with a pointed head, large fish-like eyes, and a human-shaped body covered in scales suddenly grabs the edge of the boat and lifts half its body. Right beside it is another creature, longer and deep blue, with webbed hands and raised ridgelines along its back, like something born for dark waters. What shocked viewers is that they seemed unafraid of the engine, the shouting, or the boat itself. Both creatures rose at the same moment, lifting their heads as if searching for something on board. Why did they climb up so easily? There were no signs of panic or fight. The clip cuts off right as the second creature touches the rail, leaving everyone wondering what happens next in this eerie footage. What did those figures want? Ever felt eyes from the dark sea like this? Share your creepiest ocean stare down. Next, a 2013 oil rig crew faced something far worse, lurking at 60 feet down. In 2013, an offshore oil rig in the Gulf of Mexico detected something extremely strange. A massive, fast-moving, warm-blooded object. Thinking it was a large fish, the team sent divers down to check. But they came back pale, insisting something was watching us from the darkness. One diver swore he saw a pale white creature with a human-shaped body swimming against the current like it didn't even need to use any effort. It had no oxygen tank, yet it stayed comfortably at a depth of more than 60 foot. A leaked internal email later referred to it as the Mermaid Incident. No official report, no explanation, just one fact. The entire crew was reassigned immediately afterward. This is the kind of moment that could make any diver quit on the spot. In 2009, residents of a quiet coastal town in Israel called Kiryat Yam started reporting something completely bizarre. A mermaid seen lounging on rocks at sunset before diving into the sea. Dozens of witnesses claimed to see the same thing. A female figure with pale skin, a fishtail, and long dark hair. The sightings became so frequent and credible that the local government did something no one ever expected. They offered a $1 million reward for anyone who could prove the mermaid's existence. One man said he watched her do a backflip before vanishing. Another woman swore she saw her tail slap the water. News outlets across the world picked up the story. Camera crews came, tourists showed up, and yet no one was able to capture solid proof. But the stories didn't stop, and here is the weirdest part. The reward still stands to this day, unclaimed. If you want to see how fishermen caught a $5 million mermaid in Florida, I've also added a direct link to it in the pinned comment below this video. And don't forget to come back. The next discovery is about an observation by Christopher Columbus. When Christopher Columbus spotted land in the Caribbean, he wasn't just discovering new territory. He may have discovered a mermaid. In his 1493 ship log, Columbus described seeing three creatures rise from the water with the upper bodies of women and tails like fish. His exact words, "They are not as pretty as they are depicted, for somehow in the face, they look like men." Most historians chalk this up to a manatee sighting, but that doesn't fully make sense. Columbus was an experienced navigator, He knew what manatees looked like. And why would he mention their faces at all if it was just a sea cow? What makes this more intriguing is that other sailors on his crew also reported similar sightings. These weren't isolated events. They were shared, consistent, and written down in one of the most famous explorer journals of all time. Could Columbus have stumbled onto something we've since lost? Tap the like button to let us know this content is making a difference. And if you're watching on your phone, be sure to press the hype button right below. Every hype helps this video get published to more people, and it truly supports me in earning extra income. I promise to keep bringing you even more great content. Next, Christopher Columbus's own log reveals 3 tail-flashing figures that weren't manatees, or were they? In the stormy waters of the Minch between Scotland's mainland and the Outer Hebrides, sailors have long feared the blue men, blue-skinned, human-sized sea beings who control storms and drown ships. Unlike graceful mermaids, these creatures swim alongside boats, challenging captains with poetry or riddles, fail to reply in rhyme, and they capsize the vessel, dragging the crew under. This tale has persisted for centuries with striking consistency. Generations of sailors describe intelligent beings who speak, reason, and follow strict rules. What heightens the terror is modern evidence. The Royal Navy has logged over 200 unexplained incidents in the Minch over the past century: equipment failures, freak waves in calm seas, and vessel disappearances, with survival rates far below norms for similar waters. Today, some Scottish fishermen still avoid the area without offerings of bread, whiskey, or coins, accompanied by Gaelic phrases, superstition, or a lingering truth too frightening to dismiss. In 2012, construction crews at 2 dam sites in Zimbabwe halted work, claiming harassment and physical attacks by mermaids in the water. The issue escalated to the House of Assembly, where officials publicly confirmed the stoppage and brought in traditional healers to appease the water spirits. Locally known as Nuju in Shona culture, these beings inhabit deep pools, guarding sacred waters. Workers described beautiful yet dangerous figures that bless or curse intruders, showing intelligent, territorial behavior. Pale shapes appeared when machinery disturbed riverbeds, tools vanished underwater, equipment failed inexplicably, and some felt pulled under by unseen hands. Despite government and company pressure, crews refused to resume until sangomas performed rituals to negotiate with the spirits. Afterward, work continued without incidents, no sightings, failures, or attacks. Such widespread fear among experienced adults on a major project suggests something real lurked in those waters, beyond mere imagination. In 1730, Danish-Norwegian missionary Hans Egede documented an inexplicable sighting near Greenland. A creature with a human head and torso, fish-like tail, mottled gray-green skin, solid black eyes, and rows of sharp teeth. It rose beside his ship, stared at the crew for minutes, then sank slowly into the sea, not beautiful, but alien and disturbing. Egede's credibility bolsters the account. A devout, methodical writer focused on converting Inuit to Christianity, his journals are dry, factual primary sources for 18th-century Greenland history, complete with a detailed sketch. He wasn't prone to exaggeration or fantasy, making this encounter a genuine shock to his worldview. The sighting occurred in waters Inuit hunters avoided, haunted by Kalapiluit, sea beings that kidnap humans. Egede had dismissed these as superstition, but his experience shifted his view. Historians still cite it in unexplained Arctic phenomena discussions, noting the sketch's anatomical details unmatched by known marine life, suggesting direct observation. Japan's Ningyo diverges from romantic Western mermaids, appearing as a grotesque human-fish hybrid with golden scales, sharp claws, and a monkey-like mouth, lined with tiny human teeth. Ancient legends warn that eating its flesh grants eternal life, but capturing one unleashes disasters, storms, failed harvests, and mysterious deaths until the creature is honored and returned to the sea. In the 1800s, fishermen off Shikoku Island reportedly caught one that died soon after. Locals preserved it, showed it to officials who documented its anatomy, then hid the remains in a Buddhist temple to avert misfortune. In 2022, scientists examined a 300-year-old mummified Ningyo from a shrine. DNA revealed it was assembled from various animals, yet the sophisticated preservation and craftsmanship implied a genuine belief in its authenticity, beyond a simple hoax. Why the elaborate efforts and temple safeguarding if fabricated? It suggests communities truly thought they'd encountered something supernatural, worth preserving despite the curse. This clip is flipping perceptions of mermaids and exploding on TikTok. It shows a mermaid-like creature tangled in a fishing net on a dark beach, possibly a remote Sri Lankan or southern Indian coastline where fishermen work at night. A flashlight reveals a long face, dark wet skin, cloudy eyes, and a half-open mouth. Each breath makes an eerie sound. As a fisherman leans in to free it, the creature thrashes in the net, clawing at the sand with hooked fingers in what looks like desperation to escape. The fishermen seem hesitant and spooked, jerking back each time it moves. The video cuts off at the height of tension, leaving viewers guessing. Did they release it safely, or what happened next in this bizarre footage? Next, a clip reportedly from the Florida Keys shows divers shining lights into a rock cavity, spotting a mermaid-like figure with gray-green skin and long hair cradling two smaller ones that resemble young. Silence dominates, broken only by the diver's breathing. The tail appears long and thick with sea-like markings, unlike any known fish. The young cling close, their eyes reflecting caution in the flashlight beam. As the light nears, the figure opens its mouth in what looks like a warning, then sweeps its tail to kick up sand, obscuring them. The divers back away quickly. Viewers compared it to Caribbean sea mother folklore, protective beings from old tales. Online reactions exploded. Why keep filming? Nobody knows what happened next in this eerie footage. Back in the 19th century, America already had its own mermaid panic. In the 1830s, Louisiana newspapers repeatedly reported a female mermaid appearing along the Mississippi River near Baton Rouge. Witnesses said it had long black hair, pale skin, and a fish-like lower body. The result? Widespread fear. People avoided swimming, fishing stopped, and boats changed routes. It calmed down until 1842, when the New Orleans Bee received another letter describing the same creature, this time blamed for sinking a steamboat. No physical evidence was ever found, but the story lasted for years, becoming one of the scariest mermaid legends in the United States. A viral clip from Gensun Fishport, General Santos, Mindanao, shows dozens of fishermen gathered around a boat that has just docked. On one man's shoulder is a small pale creature with a human-shaped torso, but its legs are stiff and contorted, as if hiding something. It hangs limp, arms dangling, wet hair plastered to its skull. The crowd looks terrified and confused, unsure what they're looking at. A few frames later, people step back, some trying to get a closer shot. The creature's face, said to be a mermaid, looks nothing like any fish. A high nose bridge, human-like features slightly distorted, eyelids opening over a thin membrane. Its shoulders are narrow, ribs visible, and the hip area where legs should be does not move at all. No agency has confirmed the event, but the fear in the video is real. No laughter, no signs of staging, just a moment where even the cameraman's hands shake. So, what exactly was carried off that boat in Gensun? A strange marine species, a sophisticated hoax, or the first real proof of Mindanao's mermaid legends? The question still has millions rewatching the clip frame by frame. And now, the most chilling part of today's video. A clip supposedly showing a close-up of a mermaid-like creature's face and skin. And everyone who watches it instinctively pulls back from the screen. In the frame, just beneath the pitch-black water, a pale face slowly rises. Its skin isn't smooth like a human's, but wrinkled, stretched, and rough, like something evolved for icy depths. Strands of dark matted hair float across its forehead, and its eyes are deep, black, and unreflective, like the eyes of deep-sea predators. The worst moment is when it lifts its hand. Long, bony, claw-like fingers skim across the surface, as if searching for a path toward the person filming. The movement is slow but intentional, like it's studying or warning. This image matches ancient descriptions almost perfectly. Greek sirens with abyss-black eyes, Scandinavian sea spirits with water-worn skin, and Eastern European rusalki with pale faces and dripping black hair appearing at dusk. So the creature in the clip, is it the very thing legends have warned us about for hundreds of years? Looking back at all these moments, have you ever seen anything even remotely like this in real life? In Serbia's Lake Vranja, locals whisper about the mermaid of Black Lake, a pale humanoid figure with long black hair that emerges on foggy mornings. In the early 2000s, a group of hikers claimed to have seen the creature from a distance, describing it as female in shape but with unblinking white eyes and scales across its arms. When they tried to approach, it vanished into the water with a splash. What's eerie is that locals had told nearly identical stories for decades, even before modern media could influence the narrative. In 2013, an Icelandic diving team exploring an underwater cave near Greenland captured something odd on camera. The footage, which was briefly circulated online before being lost, showed a humanoid figure with fins darting behind a rock. The diver filming could be heard screaming underwater before the camera cut out. Though skeptics cried hoax, the divers themselves, experienced professionals, stood by what they saw. Some believe the footage was confiscated due to its implications, and it doesn't help that government bodies reportedly shut down that cave to public access not long after. In the 1940s, fishermen off the coast of Benin, West Africa, claimed to have found what looked like a mermaid corpse tangled in their net. The body, which reportedly had webbed hands, fish-like skin, and a mostly human skull, was taken to local authorities. But within days, it was removed by officials and allegedly flown to France for study. Nothing was ever released to the public. And what makes this case so strange is how many unrelated locals swore they saw it, and how quickly it was covered up. Some claim it was part of the Mami Wata legend, a powerful mermaid spirit worshipped across West Africa. In 1967, a ferry captain off the coast of British Columbia saw something on the rocks that stunned him. He wasn't alone. Passengers on board reported seeing a blonde-haired mermaid lounging on the rocks near Main Island. Photos were taken, and one even made it to a local newspaper. Some said it was a prank, but others insisted that it was real. In fact, the town embraced the story so much that they started selling mermaid souvenirs. The strange thing, no one ever came forward to claim it as a hoax. No models, no performers, no confessions, just a mystery that remains unsolved to this day. In 2005, while maintaining an underwater pipeline off Baranof Island, Alaska, two divers suddenly surfaced early, panicking and refusing to go back down. One of them said he saw a human face with gills staring straight at him from a rock crevice. They described a creature with webbed hands, reflective eyes, and shimmering scales under the flashlight. Sounds terrifying. For locals, it's normal. They believe in the Inuit legend of the Kalupalik, a mermaid-like sea creature that lures people underwater with a sound only heard in the deep. This story sounded like folklore until the real video showed up. On this island, Croatia, sailors often talked about sea women singing under the moonlight. But in 2016, a night fishing crew claimed they finally saw them. Three long-haired women sitting on coastal rocks, their bodies glowing faintly before diving straight into the water when approached. Everyone laughed it off, until a blurry video surfaced. Even with low quality, you can clearly see three glowing figures leaping into the sea at the same moment. Marine biologists watched it and could only say that it doesn't match any known species. Since then, locals consider the area a place you should never sail at night. In the Faroe Islands, deep in the wind-torn North Atlantic, there is a cave that locals refuse to enter. Inside, carved into the rock, are shockingly ancient images, fish-tailed humanoids with long hair, webbed hands, and detailed scales. Historians say the carvings predate Christianity and were likely made by Norse sailors, but the most disturbing carving shows a mermaid holding the severed head of a man. Archaeologists confirm the engravings are real and believe the cave was once used by sailors to pray for protection from the sea. This isn't ancient art. It feels like a warning. You might think the Fiji mermaid was just a famous hoax, but listen to this. Even though P.T. Barnum's specimen was a monkey sewn onto a fishtail, what people don't know is that dozens of similar reports existed in the South Pacific long before that. Fishermen described a creature with glowing eyes and silver fins appearing only during storms. Some researchers believe the original Fiji mermaid was real, but was destroyed by British colonizers during a campaign to suppress indigenous beliefs. Which means what Barnum displayed may have just been a poor imitation of something that once truly existed. In 1978, a geologist hiking near the Icelandic coast found a bizarre fossil embedded in a cliff. Rib bones are like a human's leg bones, covered in scale patterns, and finger joints are unusually long. He handed it to the University of Iceland for study, and the fossil disappeared without a trace. Only photos remain. Some experts tried explaining it as fish bones or a prank, but the bone ratios didn't match any known marine species. Even creepier, the region is tied to old mermaid legends and sea witches said to drag sailors into whirlpools. Locals insist the fossil was proof they were right all along. A newly uploaded video from the North Atlantic has left viewers so stunned they had to rewind it over and over. A small fishing boat was trying to push through rough waters when the sea behind it suddenly rose up. It wasn't a wave. It wasn't a large fish. It was a long line of human-shaped shadows moving right behind the boat, as if they were following the crew. At first, it was just a few twisted ripples, but 3 seconds later, the water exploded in bursts, as if several creatures were popping up and diving in perfect rhythm. Their movements were straight, fast, and synchronized. Nothing like whales or dolphins. One crew member leaned over the edge, his face pale, while another grabbed the railing so hard it looked like he was about to fall in fear. You can hear them shouting into the wind, the kind of scream people let out when they're facing something they cannot understand. The scene matched chillingly well with old Nordic legends of the Siren pack, a group of sirens appearing together, swimming just beneath the surface before dragging ships under. And in the moment when the sea surged upward from countless faint arms pushing beneath the gray water, you could feel the real terror on that small boat. They weren't just being watched, they were being surrounded. And then no one expected a normal dive off the California coast to turn into a moment that shook TikTok. While swimming through a kelp forest, a diver suddenly stopped because right in front of him was a mermaid-like creature hiding among the swaying kelp. The camera captured everything. The long, slender body, gray-green skin, arms covered with fine scales, and a pale face with features that looked disturbingly human. Its deep black eyes stared straight into the lens, and its long, curved fingers were pulled into a defensive position. The scary part is that it didn't swim away. It floated there, watching the diver cautiously like a creature fully aware it was being seen. The comment section exploded instantly with people saying things like, "It looks real enough to give me chills and exactly like the Pacific Siren descriptions." Just a few seconds, but enough to make anyone's skin crawl. Out there in the deep kelp forests, maybe we're not swimming alone. Alright guys, that's been our list for today. What's your wildest mermaid encounter? Or did this clip make you swear off midnight swims forever? Hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell to dive into more unexplained ocean mysteries without getting pulled under. Thank you. Thanks for being with us. Leave a comment, like to show your support, and remember to hit that subscribe button for more exciting videos. See you next time.